Undisputed yesterday from my house in this very time slot. And as you might know, it failed. I don't know, technical difficulties. Yet it occurred to me last night that maybe my man Shannon Sharpe just thought that my house wasn't cool enough for him. So today, I'm still in my house, my little humble abode here in the west side of L.A., and my man Shannon went back to his palatial estate all the way up the hill from here in Bel Air. It's like Downton Abbey up there. Hey, Shannon, can you hear me way up the hill in your palatial estate?
I can hear you. And what happened, Skip, is that I realized I was playing it at such a disadvantage because you're like the Patriots. The audio kept going out when I wanted to speak, and so I had to move it.
Oh, one of those deals. Oh, you got me on that. Well, welcome sort of back to my house, Mr. Sharpe, and we're on for only 1 hour today. We hope in the next few days to expand back to our normal time slot, which, as you Undisputed faithful know, is 9:30 to noon Eastern time on FS1. Today, only now 11 to noon on FS1. But we're about to have a power hour here because we're about to get into where are the Cowboys now? Where are the Patriots now? Mel Kiper, now in his latest mock, has Belichick taking Jordan Love at number 23 in the first round. Where's Cam Newton going? Predictably, the Panthers just cut him, which brings us to our final topic. Who has the bigger benefit and advantage right now, LeBron's team or Kawhi's team from this forced layoff? But first up, Mr. Sharpe. First question, unfortunately, deals with my Cowboys. Another crushing blow. Travis Frederick just turned 29 years of age. Obviously, he's been fighting this autoimmune deficiency that he has, and he finally was forced to retire. So, Mr. Sharpe, we've had a pretty rough offseason here, starting with Dak Prescott getting tagged by Jerry Jones. This is going to make you very happy that I'm asking you this question, you being the #1 Cowboy hater. How much trouble do you feel like the Cowboys are in now with all the things that haven't gone right in the offseason leading up to no more Travis Frederick?
Well, it definitely hurts that you lose Travis Frederick, Skip, because he's the quarterback of your offensive line. And you've noticed when he got back into the lineup, they were able to do things a lot better than what they did the year before, in which he missed with that illness. But the biggest thing is still Dak. Now, they still have an opportunity. They can go into the draft and get an offensive lineman. I don't know if there's any centers that's graded as a #1 draft pick, considering what the Cowboys are going to be picking. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe they can still scour. Maybe they can make trades. But this definitely hurts. Anytime you lose a perennial Pro Bowl player, an all-pro type center, and he's the anchor of your offensive line, that definitely hurts. But, Skip, still the #1 issue that faces the Cowboys is Dak Prescott and that franchise tag. Dak wants a long-term deal. And if you lose Travis Frederick, Dak doesn't come to OTAs. He doesn't come to minicamp. He shows up late to training camp. You're in a world of hurt because what happened is that you didn't really lose a whole lot of key guys. You lost depth because Jerry kept the guy. Amari, he wanted to keep Amari. He kept Dak even though it's on a franchise tag. You did lose Randall Cobb. You lost Jeff Heath. You lost Jason Witten, guys that can be easily replaced, but that hurts your depth. Malik Collins is another guy that you lost. But, Skip, this definitely does not help your situation because Travis Frederick is one of the better centers in all of football, and that's a huge loss in the middle of your offensive line.
So, Mr. Sharpe, today you have me on the run. I have told you again and again through the last football season how bullish I was on my football team, the Dallas Cowboys. Last offseason, I was way out on the end of the limb saying I believe they're going to win the NFC and represent the conference in the Super Bowl. Instead of being bullish right now, I keep thinking of this word you often use on Undisputed, bull jive, right? That word? It's like there's been a whole lot of bull jive going on with my Cowboys this whole offseason. And I'm going to start with Travis Frederick. I'm a big fan of his, and I know he's not a big star to a lot of people. All he did was make 5 straight Pro Bowls. You can argue that his 5th one last year was a little bit on sympathy, a little bit on career achievement, a little bit on comeback player of the year. I don't think he was himself last year. And in fact, he admitted that yesterday. He just said, look, I can't any longer play up to who I used to be and what I used to expect of myself. And it makes me hurt for him, bleed for him, that he just turned 29 and he's having to say, I just can't play anymore, when in fact, and help me out, Mr. Hall of Famer, on this point, if you make 5 straight Pro Bowls, starting with your second year in the league, one time he made the first team All-Pro, and I don't doubt that he would have done that again a couple of more times. What if he'd made 10 Pro Bowls, 12 Pro Bowls as a center?
Yeah,
would
that's
you,
a Hall of Fame career.
Would you at least be in the, in the conversation anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I think he was that quality, that caliber of not only a player, but a leader. He was obviously the quarterback of the offensive line. He was a quiet, strong leader in the locker room. And this is a literal gaping hole in the middle of the line. Now, you can argue to me that because he wasn't quite himself last year, that made Ezekiel Elliott what I said that he was, which was not what he used to be. Maybe Ezekiel had his career worst stats across the board, in part, maybe large part, because Travis Frederick wasn't himself. But I'm here to tell you that the whole line last year wasn't itself, that all those overpaid underperformers just weren't what they used to be, and not because they had autoimmune deficiency. They just, for whatever reason, injuries, age, maybe just... maybe they're just a little full of themselves and resting on their laurels and on their paychecks. But Shannon, the whole line didn't block the way it used to, and they didn't even seem like a top 5 line to me last year. So I'm saying we start there, and that's not a great building block for next year's Cowboy offensive line, because you've lost the center, Joe Looney. They just signed him for $2.4 million as the backup center. I just don't think he can carry that load. You know, Connor Williams, I'm not a big fan of him at left guard. He played some center in Texas. Maybe you could put him in the middle, which leads me to Dak. And again, we're doing the scope of the whole offseason. It just crushes my soul that Dak has the exclusive tag on him. And I've told you repeatedly, nothing good ever comes from a franchise tag. So all of a sudden, you have Dak at quiet war with Jerry. And I've said this before also, Shannon. Remember, Dak bet on himself through the last football season because we thought this deal would be done a year ago in the offseason, maybe in camp, maybe just before game 1. So my point to you is he bet on himself, and I don't think he had a great year. I think that Dak began to crumble under the expectations of trying to play for a big contract even last year. So help me out. If he's betting on himself again, if they go forward with him with the tag on, I don't love his chances next year. I feel like the pressure will begin to get to him again to try to live up to getting what I think he wants, which is more than Patrick Mahomes is going to get. So again, your thoughts on franchise tag going forward. How bad will it hurt this overall football team?
Well, I mean, Dak has to understand, since now I'm in preservation mode. As long as I come off this field healthy next year, I'm going to be in line for a big payday. Skip, he just saw what Ryan Tannehill got. Ryan Tannehill got $62 fully guaranteed $1 million for basically 8 regular season starts and 3 playoff starts. That's what he got. Up until that point, he hadn't a sniff a career of what Dak Prescott has had. And Dak says, hold on. I see all these guys that are less heralded than I getting paid. Why can't I? What's the problem? You say that I'm a franchise quarterback. You say that you believe that I can win multiple Super Bowls. But when it comes time to pay what the going rate is for it, because here's the thing, Skip. You do not pay a quarterback for what he's done. You pay a quarterback for what you believe he can do moving forward. That's what you've always told me. So if you do not believe Dak Prescott is worth 38, 39, 40, whatever he's asking for, move on, because the price isn't going to come down. Because all Dak, Skip, he's only 26. So your franchise next year is going to be 27. So it doesn't get any easier. Skip, you remember our Mark Schlereth had the very